She cheated, then vanished while our son was dying, so I took everything and fought back in court. It's 2:47 a.m., and I'm pacing the cold, sterile hallway of the emergency room. My shoes squeak against the polished floor every time I turn. The air smells like bleach and worry, and all I can hear is the steady beep of the machines fighting to keep my son alive. His little chest rises and falls under a tangle of tubes and wires, his face pale and small against the stiff hospital pillow. An asthma attack, out of nowhere, hit him like a freight train tonight. I can still feel the panic clawing at my throat from when I found him gasping on his bedroom floor, his tiny hands clutching at his chest like he could pull air in by force. I carried him to the car, drove through red lights, and now here we are, waiting for the doctors to tell me he's going to be okay. My hands are shaking so badly I can barely hold my phone, but I managed to tap out a text to Rachel. Lucas is in the ER. It's bad. Where are you? I stare at the screen, waiting for those 3 little dots to show she's typing back. They come, finally, and her reply hits me like a punch to the gut. I'm with my parents. We're boarding a flight. I told you I'm busy. Busy. My son's fighting for every breath, and she's too busy. I feel the heat rising in my chest, but I swallow it down and type again, my fingers fumbling over the keys. Our son is in the ER. I hit send and wait, staring at the glowing screen like it's my lifeline. Her next message comes quick, and it's worse than I could have imagined. He'll be fine. Don't guilt trip me. I read it once, then twice, because I can't believe the words are real.
Guilt trip her.
My boy's hooked up to machines, and she thinks this is about her feelings. I drop the phone onto the plastic chair next to me and press my hands against my face, trying to hold myself together. The beep of the monitor fills the silence, steady but weak, and I look through the glass at Lucas. His dark hair is plastered to his forehead with sweat. He's 6 years old, and he's all I've got. Rachel's words echo in my head. He'll be fine, like she's dismissing him, dismissing us. I've always known she's selfish, but this is a new low. I pick up the phone again, thinking maybe I'll call her, scream at her, beg her to care, but what's the point? She's on a plane, sipping wine with her parents, while I'm here alone, watching our son fight. The doctor comes out then, a tired-looking woman with gray streaks in her hair. She tells me he's stabilizing, but it's still touch and go. I nod, my throat too tight to speak, and she pats my shoulder before walking away. I sit down hard, the chair creaking under me, and stare at Lucas through the window. He's so small, so fragile, and I'm terrified I might lose him tonight. Rachel doesn't even know how close it was, how close it still is. I think about her last text, those cold, careless words, and something inside me snaps, not loud, not dramatic, just a quiet break, like a wire stretched too thin finally giving way. I've been carrying her, carrying us, for years, her moods, her demands, her family's endless needs. And now, when it matters most, she's not here. She doesn't want to be here. I lean my head back against the wall, the fluorescent lights buzzing overhead, and I realize I'm done begging her to care. I'm done pretending she's the wife I need or the mother Lucas deserves. The machines keep beeping, and I keep watching, and in that lonely, endless moment, I know things are going to change. I don't know how yet, but they have to. For me, for him. Because if she can't see what matters right now, then maybe she never will, and I can't live with that anymore. I take a deep breath, pick up my phone, and turn it off. No more texts, no more waiting, just me and Lucas and whatever comes next. It's been 2 days since Lucas got out of the hospital, and I'm standing in our kitchen, the morning light spilling through the window onto the cracked tile floor. He's asleep on the couch in the living room, wrapped in a blanket, his breathing finally steady after that nightmare of an asthma attack. I can still hear the echo of the machines in my head, that weak little beep that kept me up all night in the ER. The doctor said it was close, too close. 1 more hour without help, and he might not have made it. I've got a cup of coffee in my hand, but it's gone cold because I can't stop staring at my phone. Not at the text from Rachel this time, though. Those stopped after her last cold message. But at the pictures she's posting online. There she is, grinning with a cocktail in her hand, the ocean sparkling behind her. Her mom, Marjorie, is next to her, all fake tanned and big sunglasses, laughing like nothing's wrong. Her dad, Greg, is in the background, holding up a beer. They're in the Maldives, living it up, while I've been sitting by Lucas's bed counting every breath he takes. Not a single call from her, not a text to ask how he's doing, nothing. I scroll through the photos, my thumb moving slowly, and each one twists the knife a little deeper. She posted these while I was wiping sweat off our son's forehead, while I was praying he'd open his eyes again. I feel sick, but I can't look away. There's one of her in a bright red dress, posing by a palm tree, and the caption says, "Paradise with my favorites." Favorites. Not us. Not her kid. I drop the phone on the counter and rub my eyes, trying to push down the anger boiling up inside me. She knew he was in the hospital. She knew, and she didn't care. I grabbed the phone again, thinking maybe I'll call her, demand some kind of explanation, but I stopped myself. What's she going to say? That she needed a break? That I'm overreacting? I've heard it all before. Instead, I dial Marjorie's number. She's Rachel's mom, sure, but she's always acted like she's the boss of everyone, including me. Maybe she can get through to her daughter. The phone rings twice before she picks up, her voice sharp and annoyed. "What do you want?" she snaps, like I'm interrupting something important. I take a breath and keep my tone even. "Lucas almost died, Marjorie. He's been in the hospital. I need Rachel to call me." There's a pause, and then she laughs. A short, nasty sound that makes my skin crawl. "His life doesn't matter," she says. "He's just dramatic like his father." I freeze, the phone pressed hard against my ear. Did she really just say that about my son, about her grandson? I can hear the clink of glasses in the background, the hum of voices, and I realize she's probably poolside, sipping something expensive while she talks to me like this. "Marjorie," I say, slow and quiet. He couldn't breathe. He was blue when I got him to the ER. She cuts me off. "Oh, stop it. You're always making a big deal out of nothing. He's fine now, isn't he?" I don't answer. I can't. My hand tightens around the phone until my knuckles turn white, and I hang up without another word. That's it. That's the last straw. I look over at Lucas on the couch, his little chest moving up and down under the blanket, and I feel something shift inside me. They don't care. Not Rachel, not Marjorie, not Greg. They're out there laughing, drinking, posting their stupid pictures, while I'm here picking up the pieces. I set the phone down and walk over to him, kneeling beside the couch. His face is peaceful now, but I can still see the fear in his eyes from that night, the way he looked at me like I was the only one who could save him. And I was. I am. I brush his hair back, my fingers shaking a little, and I make a promise to myself right then and there. They don't get to do this anymore. They don't get to treat us like we're nothing, like we're just here to fund their vacations and take their crap. I stand up, my jaw tight, and glance back at the phone. Those pictures are still there, mocking me, but they don't matter now. What matters is Lucas and keeping him safe and making sure he knows he's got at least one parent who'd move mountains for him. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but I know I'm done. Done with Rachel, done with her family, done pretending this is okay. I pick up my coffee, dump it in the sink, and start over. Fresh pot, fresh start. Just me and my boy. I'm sitting in my home office tonight, the desk lamp casting a dim yellow glow over the stacks of papers and the laptop screen in front of me. Lucas is asleep down the hall, his soft snores drifting through the baby monitor I still keep on, even though he's 6. The house is quiet except for the hum of the heater kicking on, and I'm staring at a spreadsheet that's been my life for the last 10 years. Every line is a piece of me. Money I've earned, money I've spent, money I've handed over to keep Rachel and her family happy. I'm not just a father, not just a husband. I'm the financial head of this whole messed up household, and I've been carrying them all on my back like a fool. Rachel's car payment? Me. Greg and Marjorie's mortgage on that overpriced house they can't afford? Me. The vacation fund they dip into every time they want to jet off somewhere sunny? All me. I lean back in the chair, the leather creaking under me, and rub my face with both hands. It's been 3 days since Lucas got out of the hospital, 3 days since Rachel told me not to guilt trip her, 3 days since Marjorie said my son's life doesn't matter. I've been replaying those words in my head over and over, and every time, they hit me harder. They don't care about us. They never have. They just care about what I can give them. I look at the numbers again. Thousands of dollars every month funneled into their hands, like I'm some kind of ATM. Greg's landscaping business went under years ago, but I've been propping it up with loans he never pays back. Marjorie calls them gifts, says I owe it to them for putting up with me. Rachel just smiles and asks for more. New clothes, spa days, plane tickets. And I've done it. I've paid for it all, thinking it's what you do when you love someone. But love? This isn't love. This is them sucking me dry while my son almost died alone. I sit up straight, my heart pounding a little faster now, and I grab my phone. My fingers hover over the screen for a second, but then I start dialing. First call is to the bank. It's late, but I've got the after-hours number for emergencies, and this feels like one. A sleepy-sounding guy picks up, and I tell him I want to cancel the automatic payments on Greg and Marjorie's mortgage. "You sure?" he asks, like he's surprised. "Yeah," I say, my voice steady. "I'm sure." It takes 10 minutes, but it's done. Next, I call the car company. Rachel's shiny SUV, the one she brags about to her friends. I tell them I'm not covering the loan anymore. Let it default. Let her figure it out. The guy on the line hesitates but processes it. Then I log into the credit card accounts, all in my name, all tied to my credit. And I freeze them, every single one. Rachel's got her own card on there, and so do Greg and Marjorie. They won't know until they try to use them, and I almost smile thinking about that moment. I don't stop there. I call the phone company for Rachel's line, her parents' lines, all on my plan. I tell them to suspend service. Non-payment, I say, even though the bill's not due yet. They don't argue. By the time I'm done, my hands aren't shaking anymore. They're steady, calm, like I've finally taken back something that's mine. I lean back again and stare at the ceiling, the weight on my chest lifting just a little. I didn't scream, I didn't cry, I didn't even raise my voice. I just clicked confirm on every call, every screen, and cut them off. It's not about revenge, not yet. It's about drawing a line. They've been living off me like parasites, always taking, never giving, and I'm done being their meal ticket. I think about Lucas, sleeping so peacefully down the hall, and I know this is for him too. He deserves a father who's not stretched thin, trying to please people who don't even care if he's alive. I've been so busy keeping them afloat that I almost lost him. Almost lost the one thing that actually matters. I close the laptop and push the papers aside, my mind racing but clear for the first time in years. They're still in the Maldives, probably sipping drinks and posting more pictures, but when they get back, it's going to hit them hard. No more free rides, no more me bending over backwards to keep them happy. I stand up and walk to the doorway, glancing down the hall toward Lucas's room. The monitor crackles, and I hear him shift in his sleep, a little mumble that makes my heart ache in a good way. This is my family now, just me and him. Rachel and her parents can figure out their own mess. I turn off the office light and head to the kitchen, grabbing a glass of water. It's cold and sharp going down, and I feel awake, alive, like I've finally stopped drowning. I don't know what they'll say when they realize what I've done, but I don't care. Let them yell, let them beg. I'm not picking up the pieces for them anymore. I've got my own to hold together, and I'm starting right here, right now, with my son. It's late afternoon, and I'm standing in the kitchen, stirring a pot of macaroni and cheese while Lucas sits on the couch watching cartoons. The TV's blaring some silly song about a dancing dog, and he's giggling, his legs kicking under the blanket I draped over him. It's been a week since the hospital, and he's finally starting to look like himself again, color in his cheeks, a spark in his eyes. I'm keeping him home from school a couple more days just to be safe, and it feels good to have him close. The house smells like butter and melted cheddar, and for a minute, it's peaceful. Then my phone starts buzzing on the counter, over and over, like a wasp trapped in a jar. I glance at it and see Rachel's name flashing, missed call after missed call. I don't pick up. I already know what it's about. They landed this morning, back from their Maldives trip, and I didn't go to the airport to get them. I can picture them now, standing outside the terminal with their fancy suitcases piled up, looking around like lost kids waiting for someone to save them. But I'm not their savior anymore. I turn the stove off and grab a bowl for Lucas, scooping the macaroni in while the phone keeps going. 13 missed calls now, and then it switches to voicemails. I set the bowl on the coffee table in front of him and say, "Eat up, buddy. Careful, it's hot." He grins at me, his front tooth missing, and digs in with a spoon. I sit down next to him, propping my feet on the ottoman, and finally pick up the phone to listen. The first voicemail starts with Rachel's voice, sharp and irritated. "Where are you? We're at the airport, and you're not here. What's going on?" I hit next. The second one's louder, the credit card's not working. I tried to get a cab, and it got declined. Fix this. By the fifth one, she's yelling, "My phone's about to get cut off. Why isn't the bill paid? Do you know how embarrassing this is?" I keep listening, one after another, and not a single message asks about Lucas. Not one. 13 voicemails, all about her, her parents, their problems, locked cards, no cash, no ride. I lean my head back against the couch, the cartoon dog still singing in the background, and I feel a strange calm settle over me. She's not even pretending to care anymore. I look at Lucas, his cheeks puffed out with macaroni, and I ruffle his hair. "Good, huh?" I ask. He nods, his mouth full, and I smile. This is what matters. Him, here, safe. Not Rachel stranded at the airport. Not Marjorie whining about her phone. Not Greg fumbling with a dead credit card. I delete the voicemails without replying and set the phone face down on the armrest. They'll figure it out. They've got each other after all. Rachel, Marjorie, Greg, the perfect little trio. Let them call a friend or pawn a watch or whatever it is people do when they've spent years living off someone else's dime. I get up and grab a bowl for myself, sitting back down next to Lucas. The cartoon switches to a chase scene and he laughs, pointing at the screen. "Look, Dad, he's going to fall." I chuckle and take a bite, the cheese warm and comforting. My phone buzzes again, text this time. I don't even flip it over to check. I know it's her, probably typing out more demands, more complaints. I let it sit there, ignored, and focus on Lucas instead. What's the dog going to do next? I ask, and he launches into a big story about how the dog's going to build a rocket ship. I nod along, letting his voice fill the room, drowning out the buzzing. Hours pass like that. Us on the couch, eating, watching, talking. The sun dips low outside, painting the walls orange. And I realize I haven't thought about Rachel in a while. She's out there somewhere, mad as hell, but I'm here, and it's quiet in a way it hasn't been for years. I don't feel guilty. I don't feel sorry. I just feel done. Lucas yawns, his head drooping against my shoulder, and I pull the blanket up over him. Time for bed soon, champ, I say, and he mumbles something about the dog. I carry him to his room, tucking him in, and then head back to the living room. The phone's still there, silent now, and I pick it up. One last text from Rachel. You're going to regret this. I read it, then delete it, and turn the TV off. Regret? No. I regret waiting this long to see her for who she is. I regret thinking I could buy her love or her parents' respect with money and patience. But this, letting them fend for themselves while I take care of my son, this feels right. I lock the door, turn off the lights, and head to bed. Tomorrow's a new day, and it's just me and Lucas now. That's all I need. It's late morning, and I'm standing on the front porch, the wooden boards creaking under my boots as I hear the car pull up. The air's crisp, carrying that sharp fall smell of leaves and damp earth. And I've got my hands shoved in my jacket pockets to keep them still. Lucas is inside, playing with his toy cars on the living room rug, the little vroom vroom sounds drifting out through the screen door. I knew this was coming, Rachel and Marjorie showing up, but it still hits me like a brick when I see them storming up the walkway. Rachel's got her hair pulled back tight, her face all sharp angles and fury, and Marjorie's right behind her, clutching her purse like it's a weapon. They don't knock. Rachel just barges in, the door slamming against the wall, and yells, "You embarrassed us!" Her voice cuts through the quiet house, and I feel Lucas go still inside, the toy car stopping mid-race. Marjorie chimes in, her tone high and shrill. "You humiliated us in front of our friends!" I take a slow breath, keeping my eyes on them, and step inside after them, closing the door softly so it doesn't scare Lucas more. They're standing in the living room now, Rachel pacing like a caged animal, Marjorie glaring at me with her arms crossed. "Do you have any idea what it was like?" Rachel snaps, her hands flying as she talks. Stranded at the airport, cards declined, phones dead, everyone staring at us like we're broke. I don't say anything yet. I just walk over to the coffee table, pick up the hospital bracelet Lucas wore, thin, white, with his name printed in tiny black letters, and hold it out to her. "This is from the ER, I say, my voice low and steady, the night he almost stopped breathing. She doesn't even glance at it. She swats the air like I'm waving a fly away and keeps going. "You overreacted," she says, her eyes flashing. "We needed that trip. We needed a break." I feel the words sink in, heavy and cold, and I lower my hand, the bracelet dangling between my fingers. A break from what? From being a mom? From giving a damn about our kid? I look at her, really look at her, and it's like I'm seeing her for the first time, someone who'd rather sip cocktails than sit by her son's bed. Marjorie steps forward then, pointing a bony finger at me. "You think you're some big hero cutting us off? You're selfish, that's what you are. We were counting on you." I set the bracelet down on the table, slow and careful, and turn to her. "Counting on me for what? To pay for your vacations while Lucas was hooked up to machines?" My voice stays calm, but there's an edge to it now, sharp enough to make her flinch. Rachel stops pacing and spins on me. "He's fine now, isn't he? You're making this into some big drama when it's not." I shake my head, almost laughing, but it's not funny, it's sad. "He's fine because I got him to the hospital in time. Because I was there." "Where were you?" She opens her mouth, then closes it, her cheeks going red. Marjorie jumps in again, her voice rising. "Don't you dare talk to her like that. We deserve better than this." I look between them, Rachel fuming, Marjorie puffed up like she's about to explode, and I feel something settle inside me. They're not here to check on Lucas. They're not here to say sorry. They're here because I turned off the money tap, and that's all they care about. I glance through the doorway at Lucas, who's peeking around the corner now, his eyes wide and worried. "Go back to your cars, buddy," I say, keeping my tone soft. "Everything's okay." He nods and disappears, and I turn back to them. "You need to leave," I say, pointing at the door. Rachel laughs, short and bitter. "What, you're kicking us out? This is my house too." I step closer, my voice dropping. "Not anymore. I filed for separation last night. Papers are with my lawyer. You'll get them soon." Her face goes slack like I slapped her, and Marjorie gasps, clutching her chest. "You can't do that," she sputters. "I already did," I say, and I mean it. I'm done arguing, done explaining. I walk to the door and hold it open, the cool air rushing in. Go! Rachel stares at me, her mouth working like she's trying to find words, but nothing comes out. Marjorie grabs her arm, muttering something about lawyers and revenge, and they stumble out, their heels clicking on the porch. I shut the door behind them, lock it, and lean against it for a second, letting out a long breath. The house is quiet again, just the faint sound of Lucas's cars rolling across the rug. I walk over and sit down next to him, picking up a blue truck. Want a race? I ask, and he grins, nodding fast. We play, the little engines roaring between us, and I feel the weight of the morning start to lift. They can yell all they want, they can hate me, but I'm not going back. Not to that life, not to that lie. It's me and Lucas now, and I'll fight for him with everything I've got. I'm sitting in Silas Burns's office, the air thick with the smell of old leather and coffee, my hands resting on my knees as I watch him flip through a stack of papers. It's late afternoon, and the lights fading outside, casting long shadows across the hardwood floor. Silas has been my friend since high school, the kind of guy who'd give you the shirt off his back, but also knows how to play hardball when it counts. Now he's my lawyer, and he's helping me dig through the mess Rachel and her family left behind. The desk between us is covered with documents, bank statements, transfer records, receipts, every dime I've poured into them over the years laid out like a map of my stupidity. I lean forward, pointing at a line on the spreadsheet he's holding. That's the payment to Greg's business last month, I say, my voice steady but tired. $5,000 to cover his equipment lease. He never paid me back. Silas nods, his pen scratching a note in the margin. And this one? He asks, tapping another line. $200, says girls' night, for Amelia, Rachel's sister. I shake my head, rubbing my temples. Yeah, that's my money too. Rachel used my account for it. Happens all the time. He sets the paper down and leans back in his chair, his gray eyes studying me over his glasses. You've been funding a whole ecosystem here, man. Car payments, mortgage, vacations, random cash to her sister. How long you been doing this? I shrug, feeling the weight of it all pressing down on me. Since we got married, pretty much. 10 years. I thought it was normal, taking care of family. Silas snorts, a dry little sound. Family doesn't treat you like a bank and then ditch you when your kid's dying. He's right, and it stings, but I don't argue. I just sit there, staring at the pile of proof. Every transfer to Greg's failing landscaping gig, every credit card swipe from Marjorie's spa days, every check I wrote to keep them afloat. Silas picks up another folder and slides it over to me. This is the joint account stuff. You're the primary on everything. Checking, savings, investments. She's got access, but it's all in your name. I open it, scanning the numbers. Hundreds of thousands built up from my job, my overtime, my savings. Rachel spent it like water, but I earned it. What can we do with this? I ask, looking up at him. He leans forward, his voice dropping low. We move it, all of it. Set up a trust for Lucas, private, untouchable. She can't contest what's not in the joint pot anymore. I nod, slow at first, then faster. Yeah, let's do that. He grins, just a flicker, and starts pulling forms from a drawer. Good. We'll file it today. And one more thing. Don't fight fire with fire here. Fight it with silence and strategy. Let her scream. Let her parents throw tantrums. You stay quiet. Keep your head down, and we'll bury them with this paper trail. I take a deep breath, feeling a spark of something like hope. Silence and strategy. I can do that. We spend the next hour signing papers, moving money, locking it all down. Every click of the pen feels like I'm taking a piece of myself back. My work, my future, my son's future. By the time we're done, the trust is set, and Lucas's name is on it. Not mine, not hers. It's safe from her hands. I lean back in the chair, my shoulders loosening a little. What about the separation? I ask. Silas stacks the folders neatly and looks at me. Filed yesterday, like you said. She'll get served soon. With this, he taps the financial records. She's got no leg to stand on. Emotional abandonment, negligence, plus the money angle, you're solid. I nod, staring at the desk. Solid. I haven't felt solid in years, but this feels real. I think about Rachel barging in yesterday, yelling about embarrassment, and Marjorie wagging her finger like I owe them something. They don't know what's coming. They think I'm still the pushover who'll cave if they yell loud enough, but I'm not that guy anymore. I stand up, shaking Silas's hand. Thanks, man. I mean it. He grips my hand firmly and says, You're doing the right thing. For you, for Lucas. I leave the office, stepping out into the cool evening air, my breath fogging in front of me. The street's quiet, just a few cars rolling by, and I climb into my truck, resting my hands on the wheel. I don't turn the key yet. I just sit there, letting it sink in. The money's gone from their reach, the trust is locked, the separation's moving. I've been quiet, like Silas said, but I've been busy too. I think about Lucas at home, probably waiting for me to make dinner, and I smile a little. He's why I'm doing this. Not for revenge, not to prove a point, just to protect him. I start the engine and pull out, the headlights cutting through the dusk. Rachel's going to lose it when she finds out, and her parents will too, but I don't care. Let them rage. I've got my son, my plan, and a stack of papers that say I'm not their doormat anymore. That's enough for now. It's Sunday morning, and I'm sitting at a long table in a busy diner, the kind with sticky menus and waitresses who call you honorable. The air smells like pancakes and bacon, and there's a low hum of chatter around me, families laughing, forks clinking on plates. Rachel's family insisted on this brunch, said we needed to talk things through, and I only agreed because I wanted to see their faces when it all came crashing down. I'm late on purpose, walking in 15 minutes after the time they said, my boots scuffing the tiled floor as I spot them across the room. Rachel's there, her arms crossed tight, her lips pressed into a thin line. Marjorie's next to her, fussing with her napkin, and Greg's at the head of the table, his face red like he's already mad. They've got plates of food in front of them, eggs, toast, a stack of waffles, and I can tell they've been here a while, waiting for me to show up. I slide into the empty chair across from Rachel, not saying a word, just nodding at them like it's any other day. Marjorie starts in right away, her voice loud enough to turn heads at the next table. "You've got some nerve, keeping us waiting like this," she says, pointing her fork at me. "We're here to fix this mess you made." I lean back in my seat, hands resting on my thighs, and let her talk. Greg jumps in next, his voice gruff. "Yeah, what's with the money, huh? Cards don't work, phones are off. How are we supposed to live?" I don't answer yet. I just watch them, letting the complaints pile up. Rachel's staring at me, her eyes narrow, and finally she snaps, "Say something. You owe us an explanation." Before I can open my mouth, the waiter comes over, a young guy with a nervous smile holding the bill. Sir," he says to Greg, "your card got declined. Do you have another one?" Greg's face goes from red to purple, and he fumbles in his wallet, pulling out another card, one I froze last week. He hands it over, and the waiter runs it, comes back a minute later shaking his head. "That one's no good either." Marjorie slams her hand on the table, making the plates rattle. "This is ridiculous," she yells, glaring at the waiter like it's his fault. "Do your job." The poor kid stammers an apology and scurries off, and that's when I lean forward, resting my elbows on the table. "You're not my responsibility anymore," I say, my voice calm and clear. They all freeze, staring at me like I just spoke a different language. Rachel blinks fast, her mouth opening. "What's that supposed to mean?" I look her dead in the eye, keeping my tone even. "You said my son didn't matter. Neither do you." It's like the air gets sucked out of the room. Greg sputters, "You can't just..." But I cut him off by standing up, my chair scraping loud against the floor. "I already did," I say, and I turn to walk out. They don't let it end there, though. I hear them scrambling after me, their voices rising as I push through the diner doors into the parking lot. "You don't get to walk away like this," Rachel shouts, her heels clicking fast on the pavement. Marjorie's right behind her, yelling, "We'll sue you! You'll regret this!" I stop by my truck, turning to face them, the cool air hitting my face. Greg's huffing, trying to keep up, his hands balled into fists. "You think you can cut us off and just leave?" he growls. I look at them, Rachel furious, Marjorie practically shaking, Greg ready to swing. And I feel nothing, no anger, no guilt, just a quiet certainty. "Yeah," I say, simple as that. "I can, and I am." I open the truck door, but Rachel grabs my arm, her nails digging in. "This isn't over," she hisses. I pull free, gentle but firm, and meet her eyes one last time. It is for me. I climb in, shut the door, and start the engine, watching them in the rear view as I pull out. They're still standing there, yelling, waving their arms, but I don't stop. The diner fades behind me, and I crank the radio, letting some old rock song fill the cab. My hands are steady on the wheel, my chest lighter than it's been in years. I think about Lucas at home, probably building one of his car tracks across the living room, and I smile a little. They wanted a public scene, thought they could guilt me into backing down in front of everyone, but I'm not the one who looked small today. They did, scrambling over a declined card, shouting in a diner like spoiled kids. I don't need to fight them anymore. I've already won, not with fists or words, but with the truth. They don't matter to me, and they never will again. I turn onto the highway, the sun dipping low ahead, and head home to my boy. That's where I belong. I'm sitting in a courtroom, the wooden bench hard under me, my hands folded in my lap as I watch the judge flip through a thick stack of papers. It's a gray morning, the kind where the light barely makes it through the tall windows, and the room smells like dust and old coffee. Rachel's across the aisle, her lawyer next to her, whispering something in her ear. She's dressed up, hair perfect, like she's trying to play the part of the wronged wife, but her eyes keep darting to me, sharp and nervous. Marjorie's behind her in the gallery, sitting stiff, her face pale. For once, no yelling, no pointing, just silence. I can feel the weight of the last few months in my bones, the hospital, the airport, the brunch, but I'm calm today, steady. Silas is beside me, his briefcase open on the table, every document we've built ready to go. This is it, the divorce hearing. Rachel contested the separation, thought she'd walk away with half of everything, maybe more. She didn't know what I had waiting. The judge, an older guy with a tired voice, looks up and says, "Let's start with the financials." Silas stands, smooth and confident, and hands over the first folder. "Your Honor, my client has been the sole provider for the household and extended family for over a decade. These records show payments to the respondent's parents' mortgage, her car, their vacations, hundreds of thousands, all from his income." The judge nods, scanning the pages, and I see Rachel shift in her seat, her fingers twisting together. Silas keeps going. "We've also got evidence of financial negligence. Joint accounts drained for personal use by Mrs. Rachel, transfers to her sister, funding her father's failed business, all without my client's consent." He slides another stack across, and the judge takes it, his brow creasing as he reads. I lean back a little, watching it unfold. Every late night in Silas's office, every bank statement we dug up, it's all here, laid out like a story they can't rewrite. Then Silas drops the big one. "And this, Your Honor, proof of emotional abandonment text messages from the night their son was in the ER, nearly dying from an asthma attack. Mrs. Rachel refused to return, told my client not to guilt-trip her while she vacationed with her parents." He hands over my phone records, the texts printed out clear as day. I feel a pang in my chest remembering that night, but I push it down. The judge reads them slowly, his face hardening, and Rachel's lawyer jumps up, stammering. "Objection, Your Honor, this is contextual. She was under stress." The judge waves him off. "Sit down, I'll decide what's relevant." I glance at Rachel, and she's staring at the table now, her jaw tight. Marjorie's hand grips the bench in front of her, knuckles white. Silas isn't done. Finally, custody. My client has been the primary caregiver, especially during the child's recent medical emergency. Mrs. Rachel has shown no interest. Zero contact since the separation filing. No calls to check on the boy. He sets down the last file, a thin one, just hospital records and my notes from the last few weeks. The judge looks at me, then at Rachel, and asks, "Mrs. Rachel, anything to add?" Her lawyer stands again, smoother this time. "Your Honor, my client deserves her share of the marital assets. She's been a homemaker, supported the family." Silas cuts in, calm but firm. "Supported how? By spending his money while he raised their son alone?" The judge raises a hand, silencing them both, and flips through the papers again. I sit there, my heart steady, watching him. I don't need to say a word. Silas has it covered, and the truth's all there in black and white. After what feels like forever, the judge clears his throat. "I've seen enough. Full custody to the father. Assets remain under his control, given the trust established for the child and the respondent's financial misconduct. No alimony. Mrs. Rachel, you'll need to address the debts in your name." He bangs the gavel, and it's over. Rachel's lawyer slumps, whispering to her, but she doesn't move, just stares ahead, speechless. Marjorie's frozen, her mouth open like she can't believe it. I stand up slowly, shaking Silas's hand. "Told you," he mutters, a small grin tugging at his lips. Silence and strategy. I nod, feeling the tension drain out of me. We walk out, leaving them behind, and the hallway's quiet, just the echo of our steps. I think about Lucas at home with my sister June, probably eating cookies she snuck him, and I feel lighter than I have in years. Rachel thought she'd win, thought she could lean on charm and excuses, but she left with nothing but the mess she made. The judge saw it, her neglect, her greed, all of it. I climb into my truck outside, the cold air biting my face, and start the engine. No half and half, no compromise. Lucas is mine, the money's safe, and they're out of my life. I don't gloat, don't cheer, just drive home, the road stretching out ahead, clear and open. It's done. We're free. I'm standing in the kitchen of our new place, a small house with creaky floors and windows that let in the morning sun just right. It's been a month since the divorce, and I'm flipping pancakes on a griddle, the smell of batter and syrup filling the air. Lucas is at the table behind me, his legs swinging under the chair, crayons scattered around him as he draws a picture of a rocket ship. "Make mine with extra chocolate chips, Dad," he calls out, his voice bright and loud, and I grin, tossing a handful into the batter. This place isn't fancy, no big garage, no extra rooms for stuff we don't need, but it's warm, cozy, ours. We moved in 2 weeks ago, just me and him, and it's like we finally found our footing. I slide a pancake onto a plate and set it in front of him, ruffling his hair. "There you go, champ. Eat up." He digs in, chocolate smeared on his chin, and I sit across from him with my own stack, watching him smile. That smile, it's bigger now, easier, like he's not carrying something heavy anymore. I feel it too, the quiet peace of starting over. The old house was full of Rachel's things, her family's demands, their shadows in every corner. Here, it's just us, and it's enough. I've switched to working remotely, trading the office for a desk in the living room so I can be around more. No more late nights, no more rushing home to a wife who didn't care. I'm here for school drop-offs, for bedtime stories, for moments like this. Pancakes and crayons on a Saturday morning. The doorbell rings, and I get up, wiping my hands on a towel. It's June, my sister, and her husband Miles, right on time to help with Lucas's school pickup schedule. I open the door, and June's already talking, her voice warm and fast. "Hey, big brother, brought coffee." She holds up a tray of cups, and Miles trails behind her, carrying a bag of groceries. "Thought you might need some stuff for the fridge," he says, nodding at me. I step aside to let them in, and Lucas yells, "Aunt June!" from the table, waving his sticky hands. She laughs and heads over, planting a kiss on his forehead. "Look at you, all chocolatey. Save some for me, okay?" Miles sets the bag on the counter, and we start unpacking. Milk, bread, apples, a pack of cookies June probably threw in for Lucas. They've been a lifeline since the move, stepping in when I need a hand, no questions asked. "How's the new gig going?" Miles asks, leaning against the counter as I pour coffee. "Good," I say, handing him a cup. "Boss let me go fully remote, means I'm around for him." I nod toward Lucas, who's showing June his drawing now, explaining how the rocket's going to Mars. She nods seriously, asking him about the engines, and I feel a swell of gratitude. This is family, not the kind built on obligation or money, but on love, the real stuff. We sit around the table, all of us, sipping coffee and eating pancakes, and it's easy, natural. June tells a story about her dog chewing up Miles's slippers, and Lucas giggles so hard he nearly spills his juice. I lean back in my chair, listening, and realize I don't need revenge anymore. I used to think about Rachel and her parents tripping over themselves, losing everything, and it gave me a bitter kind of satisfaction. But now, I've got this. Lucas's laugh, June's chatter, Miles's quiet grin, and it's better than any payback. The day rolls on like that, simple and good. After June and Miles head out, promising to pick Lucas up from school Monday, I take him to the backyard. It's small, just a patch of grass and a rickety swing set the last owners left behind, but he loves it. I push him on the swing, his little legs kicking high, and he yells, "Higher, Dad!" I laugh and push harder, the chains creaking, the sun's dipping low, painting the sky orange, and I feel steady, grounded. This is rebuilding, piece by piece, day by day. No big gestures, just us figuring it out together. Later, we're back inside, and I'm tucking him into bed, his rocket drawing tape to the wall above his pillow. "Night, buddy," I say, smoothing the blanket over him. He yawns, his eyes half closed. "Night, Dad. Love you." My throat tightens, and I kiss his forehead. "Love you too." I turn off the light and step into the hall, leaving the door cracked. The house is quiet now, just the hum of the fridge, and I sit on the couch, staring at the empty coffee cups on the table. This is it, our new normal. It's not perfect, but it's real and it's mine. I don't need anything else, just him and this little life we're making, one pancake at a time. It's Lucas's 7th birthday today, and I'm in the kitchen, blowing up balloons until my cheeks hurt. The living room's a mess of streamers and wrapping paper, the sun pouring through the window, bright and warm. I can hear him laughing outside with June's kids, chasing each other around the backyard swing set. The house smells like chocolate cake. I baked it myself, a lopsided thing with too much frosting, but he won't care. It's been a year since the divorce, a year since I cut Rachel and her family out of our lives, and today feels like a milestone, a marker of how far we've come. The table's piled with presents, new toy cars, a Lego set, a soccer ball from Miles. I'm setting out paper plates when my phone buzzes on the counter. I glance at it, expecting June with some last-minute update, but it's Rachel. My stomach tightens just a little as I read her message. "Can I see him today?" I stare at the words, my thumb hovering over the screen. It's the first time she's reached out in months, maybe longer. No calls, no texts, nothing since the courtroom. And now this, on his birthday, like she's entitled to pop back in. I set the phone down and lean against the counter, my hands gripping the edge. Part of me wants to ignore it, let it sit there unanswered. But I think about Lucas, about what he'd want. He's the one who matters here, not me, not her. I pick the phone up again and walk outside, the screen door banging shut behind me. The kids are still running around, grass sticking to their shoes, and Lucas spots me, waving. "Dad, look, I'm winning!" he yells, his face all sweaty and happy. I smile and wave back, then hold up the phone. "Hey bud, come here a sec." He jogs over, breathing hard, and I kneel down to his level, the grass cool under my knee. "Your mom texted," I say, keeping my voice even. "She wants to know if she can see you today." His grin fades a little, and he looks at the phone in my hand, then back at me, his eyes big and brown, just like hers, going quiet like he's thinking hard. "Do I have to?" he asks, his voice small. I shake my head, quick and firm. "No, it's your day. You decide." He bites his lip, glancing at the ground, then up at me again. "She wasn't here when I was sick," he says, almost a whisper. "She didn't come." I nod, my chest aching, but I don't push him. That's right. She made her choice back then. He looks at the phone one more time, then shakes his head, slow but sure. "I don't want to. I just want you and Aunt June and everybody here." I pull him into a hug, his little arms wrapping around my neck, and I feel the tension slip away. "Okay," I say, my voice soft against his hair. "That's what we'll do." He pulls back, smiling again, and runs off to join the other kids, his laugh cutting through the air. I stand up, dusting off my jeans, and head back inside, the phone still in my hand, Rachel's text glowing on the screen. I type back. Short and simple, "Ask him yourself." Then I wait, knowing she won't call, won't push it. She never does. A minute later, I block her number, my thumb pressing the button with no hesitation. It's done. She had her chance, years of chances, and she threw them away. I'm not mad anymore, not hurt. I'm just finished. The party kicks off soon after that. June and Miles show up with their kids, a couple of neighbors drop by, and the house fills with noise and chaos. Lucas tears into his presence, paper flying everywhere, and I snap pictures, grinning like an idiot. The cake's a hit, even if it leans to one side, and we sing happy birthday so loud the windows rattle. He blows out the candles, all 7, and I catch his eye across the table, winking at him. This is what I chose. Him, this life, this messy, loud, perfect day. Later, after everyone's gone and the house is quiet again, I'm cleaning up, stuffing wrapping paper into a trash bag. Lucas is on the couch, half asleep with a new car in his hand, the TV flickering with some cartoon he's not really watching. I sit next to him, pulling a blanket over his legs, and he mumbles, "Best birthday ever, Dad." I smile, my throat tight. "Yeah, me too." I lean back, the room settling around us, and I think about Rachel one last time, not with anger, but with a kind of finality. She's gone, out of our story, and we're better for it. I made my choice too, to protect what matters, always. And it's right here, curled up next to me, breathing soft and steady. That's all I need.